seen slam poetry online or any of those things? Yeah, cool. So you kind of know how it works. Like if you like something someone said, you click. Can anyone do that? Everyone able to click? Yeah, cool. And if you really like something, you're allowed to make noise. Like you're allowed to scream and interrupt the poem if you feel like it. That's important. Because my good friend Jesse is performing later. You're going to want to click a lot in his poem. So that's cool. And Jake performed earlier and he made everyone laugh, and now I'm going to make everyone cry. Sorry. I can't write happy poetry. Cool. Alright. So I'm going to do two of my own and one that's a kind of a cover of someone else's. Yeah. Everyone's sufficiently drunk to enjoy poetry. Yeah. Shout out to the bar staff. They gave me a little bit extra gin in my drink just now because I said I was performing. It's great. Yeah. So this one is a sad poem. I'll just start reading it. It's called 2:45 a.m. for her, and some people have already heard it 1,001 times. I'm sorry, those people. Since you left, I've been cotton-mouthed, needle-sick, love-sick, homesick. I've been a shrink-wrapped heartbreak in the making, hallucinating downpours, a diagnosed head case of psychosis, neurosis, necrosis. You were grilled cheese reality TV Sundays, tombstone eyes and finger-painted lips. You were 60 calories a day, nasogastric hospital stays, coat hanger shoulders, and Kleenex skin. You were locked door restraining orders, split bills and split wrists, stomach aches and head pains and shit stains, mothball revolvers and stitched up delirium. You were self-loathing enveloped in a sunny disposition, an antisocial, anti-establishment, anti-Christ. You were classroom crucifixion and flinching epidermic exorcisms. You were bloody knuckles, cigarette burns, and amphibious lungs, sky-high vodka delusions, and legible late-night scrolls. You deserved to be held the way an addict savors their last fix. But instead, you got friction burns, stomach churn, torn hymen, and stained Barbie sheets. My home was a patchwork of rubble, so I made a home in you. And when they laid you 6 feet under, I was a tearless contradiction. Sunday best suit and loosened tie, high heels sinking into sparse grass. After you left, you were every empty park bench, squeezed between the lines of every novel, hanging on from the dialogue of every stupid movie. You're the shrine that I pray to each night for forgiveness, the mischance goodbyes I utter in my insomniac sleep. You're the name carved into the front of my mind, my most common hallucination. You were every 2 a.m. suicidal hospital trip I made because I missed you so goddamn much. I still do. Thank you. Oh, I'm so sweaty. Cool, so that one is sad. This one's about trans stuff, so something hopefully will relate in this room. Normally people don't get it. This one's called Boys Don't Cry. Has anyone seen that movie? Maybe. Oh. I like the audible, just like, oh god, no. Cool. So, the story being, I took a gender studies class this semester, and it was not great, and that's what I wrote the poem about. I'm sitting in my gender studies class, and nobody knows I'm transgender. So nobody bothers to correct the teacher when she tells us about the girl pretending to be a boy who died. She doesn't say that his name was Brandon. She doesn't say that he was raped in a car park by the people he called his friends. See, too often we are reduced to our bodies until others think they can own us, can strip away our clothes and demand to know what's underneath. And Brandon, he learned that the hard way. My gender studies teacher tells us about the girl pretending to be a boy. How tragic, she says. She doesn't say that he was shot 3 times and stabbed for good measure. She doesn't say that this is still happening every day. This is happening. I want to tell her about Brandon. He died before I was even born, but he and I are the same. And we are not pretending. There's nothing wrong with us. What's wrong is the way that you look at us and see woman, see girl, see fuckable fetish or freak show. My gender studies teacher tells us about the girl pretending to be a boy. I want to tell her that I'm not pretending, that my skin is a costume that I can't take off, and most days I feel like an unwanted guest in my own flesh. I want to tell her about the men who put their fists to my faces, about the months I slept on street corners, about the suicide note my dad left for me saying, "This is all your fault." I want to tell her about the years I never thought I'd live to see, all the scars on my skin where I tried to unzip my veins, how I built this body from scratch, mended it with secondhand parts, and I'm still waiting for it to feel like home. My gender studies teacher tells us about the girl pretending to be a boy, and I say nothing. And this one is actually technically a cover of someone else's poem. I really liked their idea, so I basically kind of rewrote it to be my own experience. But their name is Miles Walser, and I think they still deserve credit for the idea. This poem is called Vanity. I've been checking myself out a lot lately. The amount of time I spend in front of the mirror could rival a gaggle of high school girls. I flex a disproportionate amount to the muscle I've actually gained. I study the scruff crawling down my chin, and maybe this is vanity, but it's been months since I spent more time in front of the mirror than the seconds it took to realize I had food in my teeth. And this body, I built this. I mean more than I was born, time passed, and this became me. I mean, I built this, because first, I destroyed it. Once, I was a flickering candle in an abandoned house, a small scream of man, but inside this body, a chorus of dissonance loud enough to strangle the flame. Alive on this failing foundation, when whatever dark thing told my mind to take up weapons against itself, it aimed them right at this body. I suffocated it under an avalanche of anxieties. I went to bed every night starving and wondered why this body wouldn't just kill me, so I could stop trying to kill it. Instead, it kept giving me a next morning, and I kept ruining it. And maybe this is vanity, but I often choose not to tell this part of the story because there's nothing poetic about it. Because then there was help. Because then there was recovery. Because then one day, I met the hormone, and in the doctor's office, it promised me it could rename this body mine. But in return, I had to swear, never again. I still have the eating disorder. I keep it in the back closet where I hide all the old ways. Now I don't need to say no to going back. Now I am always saying yes to myself. Testosterone helped me save my own life. Every month I inject myself full of potential, and I promise my body that in weeks, in months, when this serum becomes a sharpened jaw, a lowered voice, that I will still be here, that I will take care of this body, that this needle, this hormone, can build it into what I have always wanted. Now, I look in the mirror, and I like what I see more often than I don't, and maybe it is vanity that I stay and stare and admire, but this was rubble, and I built it into something I love. I gave myself permission to exist. I am a mountain built of a million tiny successes, and I will not move. Thank you. So if you need more drinks to feel less sad after that, please do. I probably owe you one. Yeah.
Which one am I using? Alright. I think Kai's experience would come home, would tell us some home truth to many of us here today. Thank you, Kai, for sharing your story with us. We'll take another short break. Next up we have Tama, who's going to play us some flute, and then bring out their friend who will play the organ and sing us some songs. A little bit more class in the evening. Next up, see you soon.